Okay, hello folks, welcome to Dirt Time. I'm Christopher Nergesh.
I'm Alan Helcon.
I'm Dude McLean.
And today Alan is going to tell us about the first aid books that he is most familiar with, and tell us about how you know about all these books.
Well,
Alan. Give us your background.
I wouldn't say I'm most familiar with them. It's just
More familiar than Dude. Tell us why tell us your background.
Well, first of all, I'm a certified instructor for ECSI, that's Emergency Care and Safety Institute. I'm also a certified instructor for the Red Cross and first aid, wilderness first aid, and also a certified combat lifesaver instructor.
Etc., etc., and so on, etc.
Yeah. So, with me, medicine is I'm very passionate about medicine.
And Dude is very impressed at the skill level that Alan has attained in this particular
Actually,
field.
yeah, I am.
Yeah, I am too.
I mean, he's really got himself into it.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, and I've said this before, when we think of a survival situation, what is a survival situation? A direct threat to life.
So first aid is right up there, right up
So,
the top.
I mean, if we're going to die of something, it's going to be a medical emergency, right?
Right.
An amputation, hypothermia, whatever. You're going to die from a medical emergency. Even if you're dying of old age, it's because your system is shutting down, right?
You had to bring up old age, didn't you?
Well, he looked at you.
Yeah.
But I'm catching up with Geezerhood too. So beyond, let's say, the Red Cross Emergency First Aid course, what kind of classes or books would somebody want to use?
Well, some of these courses are not available to everyone in all areas. So there are books out there that I would recommend people get. Some of my favorite books I brought along today. I have a very broad library when it comes to this stuff.
Okay, let's take a look.
But this one right here, The Wilderness First Responder by Buck Tilton.
And Buck Tilton is who?
He's a long-time survival instructor, writer. He's been around for years and years and years.
So he knows his stuff, and he's a good writer too.
Yeah.
This book, believe it or not, if you go to Amazon Books and go on the used books, it retails brand new for $34.95, but you can pick it up for, I think I paid $4 for it used, and it was in excellent condition when I picked it up.
And is this one of your favorite books of the batch?
You know why it is, and the reason it's one of my favorite books, it's very comprehensive. It talks about stuff beyond basic first aid, but it doesn't get overly technical with it.
Okay, so the average person could get into this.
Sure, exactly. Another good book is the National Outdoor Leadership Wilderness Medicine book, Knowles, and this is put out by Wilderness Medical Society. Another easy to read book. It's black and white, primarily text, but it talks about a lot of the threats that we're going to encounter in the outdoors.
It looks like it's well organized. Looks like it has a lot of illustrations in it.
Absolutely. The one put out by the Wilderness First Aid one by ECSI, this is a good one. It's easy to read. There's plenty of white space. The pictures, everything's in color for the most part.
I like that color.
Oh,
that does look good. It makes a big difference.
It does make a big difference.
I have this book also.
It covers the basics, burns, hypothermia, and whatnot.
Wilderness First Aid, 3rd edition. So you could go online or to Amazon and find that one.
Yeah, you're probably going to find. Yeah, all of them. Basic Essentials, Wilderness First Aid. I bought this at REI. Yes, I love used books, but I actually paid full value for this.
Okay.
$8.95.
Oh, that's reasonable. That's reasonable.
This is another easy entry-level book for those people that want to test the waters with Wilderness First Aid. This is a good book to start with. Okay. Now,
this looks like a Bible you've got right here.
Well, so we have the easy books, the basic entry-level books. As you advance more in your career or attempt to further your studies, you're going to want to get some, higher echelon stuff. Okay. This one right here, Wilderness Medicine by Paul S. Auerbach. This thing, extremely comprehensive. I would not necessarily recommend it for the beginner. It's comprehensive. It has, I wouldn't say over-the-top medical terminology, but a lot of it does deal with threats not found in all these other books.
So somebody working in the field is more likely to get this book. Maybe even a Boy Scout leader.
Yeah, the only thing that may put the people off from purchasing this book is its price tag. It's right around $300.
Really?
$300 for this book.
It's hard to believe you would pay $300 for any book.
Brian P., thank you.
Okay, all right.
Well, Alan mentioned something earlier when we were talking, and that these skills are perishable. I started doing a lot of these kind of things when I was in the Marine Corps, but that was over 50 years ago. There are certain things that you tend to forget they claim that in the emergency, all of a sudden it'll come back to you. I'm not always sure that's going to happen.
Wow, you know, I'm glad you brought that up, dude. When I'm teaching the Combat Lifesaver course or the TCCC course, and we have the 3 days, of classroom instruction and the hands-on in a really controlled, very calm environment. On the final day, when we put them through the final exercise and all that, and we add the level of stress, the yelling and this and that, people are like deer in the headlights. You know, they have that look. They freeze up. They don't know how to act, and yet they've done it when they're calm and controlled. They get performance anxiety.
Sometime in the late 80s, I took a Red Cross course. It was downtown LA. And I took it, and what we did was we got out in the parking lot, and while people were trying to practice doing it, people started honking their horns, revving their engines, and yelling. You'd be amazed how that threw everybody off.
It will throw you off. But there again, this is why you have to practice these skills. You have to know them backward and forward. One of my all-time favorites, one of the biggest threats in the outdoors is exposure to the elements, primarily hypothermia. Okay, you have hyperthermia and hypothermia. Hyperthermia, heat exhaustion, heat cramp, the whole 9 yards. Hypothermia, when you're losing body heat. This book right here, as small as it is the Bible.
That's the one that we
for cold weather injuries.
Yeah.
This guy, Gordon S. I can never pronounce. Maybe
Gisbrecht,
PhD,
doctor,
has done an enormous amount of study in this area. An enormous amount of study. This is the go-to.
We do an article in Wilderness Way using this guy.
Yes, we did.
Yeah,
we did. I did a book review.
Where does he live?
I think he lives out there by Rob.
Okay,
Rod Garcia, not Rob. Rod Garcia.
It's a $18 book. That's reasonable, I suppose.
Everyone should have this.
Take a quick look. Okay, so
it's an easy read. Color pictures. It shows you the various injuries, but it's a great read.
All right.
Very good. So we've covered quite a bit. I'm Christopher Nergesh. This is Alan Halcon and Dude McLean with Dirt Time, and it was a pleasure to have you today.
Check your six.
Over and over and over again.
I'm going to fake you out in a minute.
You're going to fake me out in a minute? How are you going to fake me out in a minute?
Check your three.
What's next?
Check my 3.
Do you think that was good enough?
He actually knew which way to point.
That's good.